I used my late father's cameras to photograph famous people to help the Royal Marsden Cancer Charity. So please watch, enjoy and subscribe. So this is the article I saw in a paper late one night. I was working in an accident department, and in between horrendous things coming through the door, there was always quiet moments when you could read the paper. It's really concerning the fact that the hospital where my dad had died didn't have enough money to buy this much needed piece of equipment. Something clicked. I'd done the Warhol pictures. I'd already had this idea to approach other people, and so my mum had just moved to this little house in Chelsea, and I had a bedroom on the back. So I said to her, I'm going to throw my bed out and paint it white because there's all these famous people coming. And she went, okay, all right, we'll see. And anyway, they did. And I managed to have exhibitions. This is the first one I'd had at the Royal Court, and this is down in the bar, I think. And I framed everything in old greenhouse glass because I didn't have any money for frames and things. And so, yeah, there's the first show. Do you recognise some of these people? And the local paper wrote it up. And so what I used to do was screw a box to the wall with a slit in the top and say, can you put change in this? For the Marsden, they need this scanner. And so I've come back to the Marsden today to see the spot where I used to hand over cheques and little bags of coins. And then one day they asked me to come around and take pictures of a visit by Princess Diana. So here it is now, all posh steel and glass. But in those days there was this wonderful oak revolving door. And here's the arrival of the princess. That's Marmaduke Hussey, who was the chairman of the BBC, who was in charge of showing her around. And a little bit like the Warhol pictures, she was somebody who was beyond just a normal person. She'd become a sort of icon. The temptation was really just to stare at her. But the first thing she did, obviously after just meeting this nurse, was to meet a group of people who worked there and patients who were all eagerly waiting. But you could see the tremendous effect she had on people. It just brought out a sort of a happiness really when you saw her, and she genuinely loved the Marsden, and you could tell that. So then we went into this room which I couldn't find today, to listen to Marmaduke Hussey inviting Diana to open a clinical block. This plaque was on wheels, so I knew it was going to be transported off somewhere, but I did actually find it today. So there we go, 8th of October 1992, and down the end of this corridor I remember was where she had to greet another select group of gentlemen who ran the hospital, and the trust and the appeal. I wonder if she used to get blisters. And then the bit that I felt she enjoyed the most, which was mixing with the patients. She was known to visit the hospital alone, often to visit patients and to just sit with them. And without a doubt, her presence lifted people's spirits in a really genuine way. It was a treat for me to be able to sit there up close and listen to her chatting. One thing I always remember is that she knew me by sight because I was always there on her visits, but she never once looked into the camera. And then along another corridor and signing the official book of the visit. And I just found these I thought you might like to see, which was the first time I ever photographed her. So this would be a couple of years earlier. She gets to meet this little guy, especially dressed up in his bow tie. There's the ubiquitous Marmaduke. And it was just as she was leaving that I took probably my favourite shot I ever took of her, which was this one. I know it's just a random shot at the end of the film, but I think it's rather beautiful. Now, stay tuned to my channel, because in a future episode you'll see Diana in a very different setting with a bunch of very famous people under the stage at the Albert Hall. Thank you for watching. It's free to subscribe by hitting the red button below, and it helps me to help the Royal Marsden Cancer Charity. So please click to conquer cancer. Thank you.